Greetings, Rigil Agateiades here, and last week, together with the Crossbone Gundam, came the adjustment patch for this month. Surely you guys are more excited than I am, because in this patch, numerous protagonist mobile suits, which I'm not interested in at all, got exceptional buffs to finally bring a bit of flavor to their playstyle. But on the other hand, there are the relative losers, whose buffs are far from enough to get them up to speed. Or maybe we're just missing something. Today's mobile suit is one of the losers, ironically even a sister machine to the GP series, which almost all got buffed recently. The 550 cost raid type, Gerbera Tetra. For many years, this mobile suit was the icon for ranged raid types thanks to the incredible nature of its beam machine gun. But over the years, monsters came and went on the 550 cost battlefield, and this mobile suit's age really started to show. So what are the buffs this mobile suit got in an attempt to fix this? First of all, we have a 1500 increase to its base health. Not bad at all, need a little bit more work to survive the Gundam hammer, but I'll take that. Then we have the mobile suit skills. The level of emergency evasions is increased to level 2, so it can now evade twice, and the level of maneuver armor is increased to level 3. Not game changing, but definitely nice to have. Continuing on the list, the level of force injectors and flight control program are increased to level 3. Now we take 25% less thrusters when changing thruster direction, and another 50% when midair. These are all good buffs, and with high performance radar now at level 2, this mobile suit doesn't feel outdated in handling anymore. The problem, however, are the weapons. So, the weapon buffs. First, we have the beam sabers. The swap time is reduced slightly, and the damage multiplier on the iconic lunging down attack is increased to 170%. That's a 20% damage increase while being easier to land than before. Then we have the arm machine gun. With this, the damage is slightly increased, reload time reduced by 3 seconds to just 7 seconds, and the fire rate increased by around 100 rounds per minute. That's more damage and more stagger in just the same amount of time. Undoubtedly, these buffs are good, but something's missing from this list. What's missing from the list of buffs this patch is the weapon that's almost the identity of this mobile suit, the Gerbera Tetra beam machine gun. Once upon a time, this weapon was the best staggering weapon ever. With 25% stagger per hit and 5 hits every trigger, it can get an accumulated stagger from up to 350 meters range, like a long-range shotgun that never reloads. But not so much nowadays. Long gone are the days where your aim decides whether you stagger or not. With damage control given to so many general types, the Boji, the Slaves Yakdoga, the Zaku 3, and now even the Gundam, this weapon turned from stagger anybody to stagger no one. You can swap to the arm machine gun or go for a second burst, but even when you finally pull off the stagger, it's not the end of the fight, because you're not the only one with 2 evasions. The worst part, however, is the fact that you're not protected in any way while you're trying to get that stagger. None of your weapons fire on thrusters, so you can't stagger anyone while on maneuver armor. Pull out your beam machine gun and you're going to be staggered first. Or are you? That's indeed the case a lot of the time, but that's only because you're in a ground battle. Free our souls from the chains of gravity, and we suddenly realize how good this mobile suit actually is. Once we're in space, the lack of staggers to use on thrusters doesn't bother us anymore. Use high-spec AMPAC properly, and there's no delay switching between thrusters and firing our machine gun. Even if we can't get a stagger on the first burst, we can just go back to thrusters again until our second burst. Now we're seamlessly going from approach to stagger to even the down attack, making this mobile suit a lot harder to stop. But being in space doesn't just solve the lack of staggers on the move, it lets us fully utilize the true strength of this mobile suit, its mobility. With above average thrusters and thruster speed, the Gerbera Tetra is all about spamming the thrusters. It's fast enough already on ground, but put it in space and it goes even further beyond. With space compatibility, our thruster consumption is almost non-existent, letting us stay on maneuver armor almost permanently. With forced injectors level 3 on top, we can move in any direction in all 3 dimensions at any time. Even the notorious Gundam can't do anything about us in space. We can turn circles around him. And it's not just thrusters. The turn rate of the Gerbera Tetra is also significantly improved while in space. Space compatibility gives us 6 turn rate, then high spec AMBAT level 2 gives us another 3. That's 9 turn rate just by moving from ground to space. This not only lets us catch enemies with our lunging down attack easier at close range, crucially, it makes it easier to hit the full burst on the beam machine gun. With all these buffs we've got, this mobile suit is perhaps one of the best raid types in space. By using high-spec AMBAC properly, we're dishing out up to 250% stagger on the beam machine gun alone, while protected by maneuver armor almost the entire time. But the enemy supports are the ones taking the full brunt of these buffs we got simply by moving to space. Even with damage control level 2, we stagger the Palace Athens without trouble switching between maneuver armor and 2 full burst. Melee combo in, 3rd full burst on the beam machine gun, and you have just enough time to squeeze in another down attack, making this the highest damage combo on this mobile suit. The damage may not be as impressive as other raid types made to one-shot supports, but I can promise you from the support type perspective, this machine gun is definitely a lot harder to deal with. That was the Gerbera Tetra, the loser, only when put in the wrong battlefield. While the lack of staggers while on thrusters is a lethal weakness on ground, return to space and it shows what it can truly do. The buffs to all maneuver armor, forced injectors, and emergency evasions just made it even harder to catch, and with the increased down attack multiplier and most importantly the shortened swap time on his beam sabers, we're not doing any less damage. With custom paths, you can pretty much take anything you want, just to make sure to squeeze in some beam defense. That's it from me today. Really love myself more space matches, and laters.